Working on a couple new Sterns today. It's August in the Midwest, and we got problems with flippers sticking up like that. Notice, game is off. This is not an electrical problem. Now, a lot of people claim that the coil stops can be an issue on Stern flippers, and that is for sure. But in August in the Midwest and in the East, that's not the problem. Now, this flipper is adjusted correctly. Listen. Hear that as I move the flipper up and down? See that little bit of movement? That's good. Over here, try and do that. There's no movement. So why did this work a month ago and not work now? It's because, again, August, humidity. Playfields are wood and they expand with humidity. And as they expand, the binding effect becomes more prevalent. You have to have that little bit of up and down. In fact, I would say 1/16 of an inch at minimum. If you live out in the West, this isn't really a huge problem, but here, even this upper flipper has got the same deal. I can't lift it up at all. This one was, the guy was sticking too, but it's not as bad as the lower one. So what do? Easy squeezy. Just come under here. You loosen this Allen wrench, not a ton, maybe a half turn, and then you can wiggle the flipper back and push it up a little bit to get that play, realign the flipper and tighten it, and you're done. Now, coil stops, these guys also tend to be a problem, but that's not what's going on here. And again, I see this problem all the time in the summer months. Here on the Star Wars, same problem. Watch. No up and down play. Can't hear that click, can ya? This one's really tight. Same deal. They do come back. And actually, it was funny, the guy said that last week it didn't work and this week it did because we've had lower humidity this week. But before you go checking coil stops, end of stroke switches, any of the springs, any of the usual suspects in flipper repair, always check this up and down. It involves no tools and takes just a second. A lot of times that is the problem. Now, when you realign the flippers, just be aware there's two dots there and there. Put in the playfield. They help with your realignment. They're basically at the tip of the flipper. But what I like to do is run a straight edge across here to make sure that this is all perfectly straight. And then when you have both flippers up, to make sure that they're symmetric. That is, they're both up the same amount and sitting down the same amount. If you can't make that adjustment, usually it is the coil stop that's been smashed. And so you might have to replace it. But on these games that are only, home use only and only a few years old, that's probably not going to be the issue. When you're tightening these, you really got to lean on them. Put a lot of pressure. And the same thing when you're loosening them to adjust the up and down flipper travel. The bats need that. And these Allen wrenches are really on there tight, and that's for a reason, so you don't get slippage. So on this Iron Maiden, the upper flipper is still sticking, and this indeed is a coil stop problem. If you look at the slug here, I don't know, it's hard to video, but see it moving? See that? That means, look at that, see there's a good picture of the movement. That'll cause sticky flippers too, and they just wear out. Stern coil stops aren't real good. I recommend buying the Pinball Life variety. They seem to hold up much better than the original Sterns. So this one had a combination of humidity and a bad coil stop. 2 for 1 in this situation. Now, and the upper flipper is good too with the new coil stop. But we checked all the up and down play. Hear it? Gotta have a little up and down. Oh, here's the one we just adjusted. Hear it? Didn't have that before. And now you're all ready to rock and roll.